Hi everybody, it is Sunday, October 16th. This is going to be a couple-part interview with Dave Dobbs. He is one of the, I want to say, preeminent researchers in the Nibiru community. He doesn't get a lot of recognition. He's got about 4,900 subscribers. I want everybody to go check out his stuff. Now, while you might not agree theologically with everything that David has to say, I would love for you to see the evidence that he's collected, especially the last couple of cycles for the last 5 years. He's basically tracked every sighting of the comet, one of the outermost planets of the Nibiru system, and we talk about that today in our interview. I hope you enjoy it, and please go subscribe to Dave's channel. Thanks.
I'm uncovering truth that I struggle to believe, and yet I look at the facts, I look at the observations that have gone into bringing this information in, and it's very difficult for me to work a way out of any way of seeing what I'm seeing. So, and Wayne, I tell you, it's been lovely hearing you coming on, especially coming in with all the, when you brought in all the, when you were coming strong in with all the like stereosecchi sort of A images and the whole science that you were jumping the whole level of this thing up. And you were connecting the dots. It's very exciting, because people are starting to get a window on something here. So I thought, just for the viewers, because anyone who doesn't know what I'm about and what I'm talking about, can I take you first to a quick? Can I take the screen for a shake and just put? You've probably seen it. Do I need to press the button up here?
Yep. So you should have a share screen button that's available to you now, Dave.
All right. Okay. Share screen. Desktop 1. Share screen. Okay, have you got me?
We gotcha.
Okay, so let's start. I think this video. I think I'm in a. Where am I? I've started in third phase of the moon. One of Blake's vids. One of his last vids, like a couple of days ago, 13th, I think. And someone's just sent him this shot in. I'll just play a little bit and ask you to sort of like check the footage out. But just the beginning of the movement of this asteroid as it comes in over Canada. Check out the space in the tail, which tells us it's gone through the atmosphere.
Let's get to this next video coming in from Calgary, Canada.
Wow.
What is this shit? Look at it. We're in Calgary. I don't understand.
Can you see the gap? Can you see the space?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely an extra atmospheric object.
Exactly, it's come through. You can see the tail. Now you understand that sort of like that whole haze of pollution you're seeing there.
Yeah.
The tail is far, far, far higher than that. Far higher than that. That's literally come through the atmosphere, and then it's punched through. That's the gap. You saw the same thing with the big meteorite over Russia. You have that special gap that says it's come through. They're coming through. So we are now at the phase where understand that by my calculations at the moment, Nibiru is heading away from us again now. It's effectively past us. Well, there's debris up there. And so let me just let's just get excited at the moment. Let's just work from the most exciting information and then put the order together, because I think by that means we all want to be on the same page with I've got a special video I just made for your show, Steve.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Just to run through it. It's still going to be a bit bitty, but where are we?
I just want you to just take the floor, because my viewers are not obviously all aware of you, okay? Because I have like 50,000 subscribers, and guys, I want you to know that I watch Dave all the time, and I pay very close attention. And I've actually referenced a few of your videos, Dave. I
know, man. You're a legend. You're a legend.
Yep.
You're an absolute legend. So listen, have you still got the screen? Have we got this Nemesis being eclipsed and plasma discharge between?
I was just getting ready to pull the same one up, but go ahead and drive.
Yeah, man. If it's just like, guys, you are in for a show. I've just showed you that. I'm just going to show you a few little bits of Jeff P's latest video. Honestly, Jeff P is a guru. He's a shining light. He researches. He's got a lot of other stuff going on in this video. You've got to see this video. You've got to see some of the things. But I'm just for this discussion, let's just run this little section.
This appears to be a light source, some kind of
14th of October,
at the
late at
airport
night,
for the pilots here.
10 p.m.
So let's go back in time and see the progression. Yeah. Well, there we go, folks. I believe what we're looking at here is the Nemesis star that appears on the horizon and then gets eclipsed as its 4 rotating bodies and their rotating bodies in this entire orbiting system. So let's zoom in on each one of these first of all. Death ray coming from this planet. Well, keep in mind, this is a projection looking through a lens system, like I just showed you. So everything's going to look translucent and holographic in nature. You can see things through it.
Jeff, you are off the radar.
But let's keep going. We go back in time here.
Jeff.
I'll take my time with each one, exposing
rotate
this lens system here. That's a projection of the planet itself. And sometimes it's a projection or is it an out of focus planet? How about that one? Is that what they're hiding? Well, let's keep going back.
Remember, this is happening in a flash, a moment.
And now we can see a much better view of this lensing system.
Okay. See the structure of it?
Pulls it out of focus.
Yeah.
So
it's here. We're not playing for too much longer, and then we'll pause it. Hold on.
Watch my cloaking planet video, or the lenses that produce translucent images of our planet. And again,
what is that, man? Look, see this top thing up here. See this? We're just going to pause it there, man, because he bring. Can you see where I've got my cursor? This little circle here.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, man. Before I take this, my definition of this any further, I mean, Wayne, where are you going with that? Where's your head with that, man?
Well, I got to tell you, I took some pictures this morning as the moon was starting to set on the southwestern horizon. And what I caught, Dave, I sent it to Steve, is that I caught there are rays coming from the west, not the east. The freaking sun is coming up in the freaking east. I'm getting clear indication of a body in the western sky, and it's streaking and casting on the sky.
Yeah,
I see this, and I've got to correlate the two. That what we're seeing across the world now, whether it's nighttime, whether it's daytime, sunrise, sunset, it's out there. It's visible. That's what I think.
Steve, what? Steve, what? I mean, what did you must have just fallen off your sort of like. I mean,
did you hear him? I thought he said.
I am a very emotional human. Okay, number one, I show it right on my sleeve. But as the scientist returns to my soul and I regain my higher brain function here, yeah, I mean, I've seen enough images like this, and I think I probably have one of the most vast photo libraries now on the earth. Jeff P. is a great friend of our channel. I love his research as well. I can't speak highly enough of him, but yeah, when that flame of plasma though licked out of that, and I know you're probably going to show it again, and I hope you do.
Yeah,
that was a stunner to me because it shows that it's within enough proximity to another object to have an electrical discharge. It's not likely going to be one of the objects in its own system. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So look, I'm going to find a plasma discharge. So not to stop your flow there, but as I find before I find this plasma discharge, see where I've got my cursor here, and I'm going round this little dot. Let's just remember that. Let's just remember that. Hopefully, we're going to get another plasma charge out of it before I go on to why I say remember that point. But let's just see.
I mean, what else is that thing?
Let's see if we can just find the plasma.
Yeah, I'm sure the trolls are going to have very imaginative minds. Try and come up with this one. And look how it gets eclipsed, and look how bright that is. And again, all happening within a single minute. The stuff is moving.
That flipped me out right there, man.
You would have missed it it probably would have been almost a flash in the sky. This whole event happened in a matter of
Hopefully we're gonna
minutes.
get one more. Come on.
That's the one. Here it is.
So here,
All right. Look at that, man. Now, listen, I tell you what I'm believing is happening there, Steve. Just not to interrupt your flow there, because you've got to finish where you're going, but just by the by, so I don't forget, the reason we got one moment flash there is because all the energy that thing is using to deflect the radiation that's coming off Nemesis got drained because it experienced an impact, because it is a shield. And when it gets a massive impact, all its energy, I'm convinced, is being used as a shield. And when that shield, when all that energy gets diverted to repel something, we see through it. We got a glimpse. I say that because another subscriber, I can't show it to you now because honestly I can't find it, but they sent me this amazing footage of the sun, and all they could see was this shield just fluttering. We know we're coming through this, you know, we've got, I'm going to take you through the pathway after we've looked at a little bit more of the shield that you've all put up and commented on. I'll take you through the pathway that I've assembled, and I'll show you why this should be here and everything else like that. But just
before we move on to that segment, which I want you just to go ahead and take off here after I make this comment, unless Wayne's got something to say, but the big news that Wayne and I have learned in the last couple of days is that they're finding big plasma holes in Norway right now.
Right through the ice.
Yeah, Wayne, go ahead.
Yeah, right through the ice. Had a subscriber who lives in Norway and sent me the pictures. He's actually got the plasma discharge caught, and then they actually show where the scientists are looking over this hole, and you can see it. I mean, it's very plain, and yeah, it's happening all over the world.
Yeah, Jeff, in that video that Jeff's posted, as you probably noticed, he's actually monitored another thing. 2 people came to a sighting on a beach or something. I'll take you forward to that, actually.
Look at that. Look at that, though. That's just...
I've only put a fraction of Jeff's video. You really want to he's got a whole bit about plasma discharge. He's really quite fascinating.
Here, we left that beam of light leads couple for centuries old.
Yeah, so that's it on the let me just come into this section over here, because you know where this is going, man. You know where this is going. I mean, Steve, you put this video up, didn't you? The first, I don't know where you got this. Was it one of your subscribers that sent?
Yeah, this is the flow of evidence we have right now. Stuff like this every day.
I mean, Steve, that is, you know, and then we just see this shape. Then we just hit the play button there. These are, you know, I've tried to get as much of this of your show when, you know, Jeff, who are you with? You were with, what's his name? He's just shut the channel down. Chris Potter.
Yeah, it was Chris. Well, there's our little friend.
Look at him. And let me just pause that.
Look
there.
at that.
Now look, is that not the top shape of that disc there? The same thing. It's a shield, man. Look, and it is a much bigger. That's 3. That's how many corroborated testimonies do we have to have before we can even slightly consider that it might be worth reviewing this? Because we can see what happened when this thing came in 2010. You know, we had late February 2010, the largest earthquake, 8.8 on the Richter scale in Chile. The Earth goes round the sun, you know, one complete cycle, 1 year and 2 weeks later. You know, we have Fukushima, early March, like March the 11th. Barely 2 weeks later, you know, so we're getting the idea that whatever this thing is, it's massive, moving very slowly, 1/6, if not slower than the speed of Earth. It's huge. It's got massive gravity. We had a bump when we came in, a big bump, and we lost a power station, and it's polluted the Pacific Ocean. And suddenly we see it coming around again. It's just like, guys, are we all too cool? Have we all got too much social network face to actually look at this and say, guys, is it not worth the slightest bit of consideration before we just allow ourselves to go into this and say we had no warnings? Have we had no warnings? Is there not just been no end of massive evidence? The bottom of the Pacific Ocean, the surface of the floor is breaking up. Massive volumes of earthquakes and volcanoes happening below, heating the Pacific like never before. This is where all the moisture's coming from. It's not just the oceans on this earth that are going to be pulled, it's the whole shape of the earth is being pulled by the stretching of this massive gravitational mass. It's going to cause big earthquakes.
Yeah, just a little anecdote. Right now in the Midwest, it's 100% humidity in October, which is unprecedented. Usually what happens this time of year, we're drying out prior to the winter season.
Oh man, and this thing is we're just coming into this. The asteroid coming in that Blake showed, third phase of the moon on I think the 13th. It tells you, man, we've seen it going past. There's epic footage of it going past. So listen, where do you guys want to go with it now? Because if you want your viewers to sort of have an idea of how I've come into this, I would
really like that, because the photograph that I showed, and I actually mentioned this interview on that show, was a picture of the object that you've been tracking for 5 years, I think, or since 2010, I believe. And you have all this corroborating evidence. Well, I sent that to you to let you know, hey, we photographed it in the Midwest last week. So
man, perfect timing. So Wayne, anything because are you cool with that, Wayne? Was there anything you wanted to bring in before I sort of show how I came to the timeline of this? Because I don't want to interrupt your flow either.
No, I mean, I am tracking right with you, Dave, stride for stride. So absolutely spot on.
Okay, man. So let's fly into this. And if you're new to me on this, I've got to say I came into it on a pretty wacky. I came into it on a pretty wacky kind of lineage, really. I'm of a mind that this thing really is it's one of these. It's a sacred shield, and I came into I saw Nibiru in a dream, and so and this, I'll just pause this here and we'll run through this thing. It's not that very long. It's a very, very, very abbreviated version, and I'll just talk you through it as I go, because then we can sort of talk about it and really sort of we're all on the same page as this. We've seen the sensational stuff that's coming in the last couple of days, and we all know that we're seeing sensational stuff coming in every hour at the moment. That's just two of the highlights that have coming in. But this is
I will also say to the audience before you continue, I think that we're close to some kind of event, and that's one of the reasons why they're cranking up the saber rattling. You don't go from sitting in a hot tub at the G20 last year to going to war. You guys, this is all a distraction from this.
Yeah, totally. So this is let's just keep it going. I've built just so we can have a quick look at what an 8.8 on the Richter scale looks like. It's we don't want to underestimate this. We're not fear mongering here. I'm just trying to really try and get you to really see this thing has come in and it's got to go out. We're not creating that. It's just, is it valid? If we could just switch those generators off and turn this into a big insurance shop. So that's kind of like that's, when was that? Late February 2010. So we're just going to come forward here. And we're just going to come back here, and see how I've altered the red path. Let me just take you through this a little bit. So what you're seeing, just so we're clear, the red path there is the path of Nemesis. That is our second sun. That is this big, whether Jeff P's of a mind is made of thorium, a big thorium mass. A lot of people have different opinions of what it's made of. This, I'm estimating, came under the Earth at more like this sort of angle. I used the other angle. Really, I should have kept with this angle, except I had the rotation, I think, wrong. But for mean's sake, we'll stick with the old angle. But I'll explain a little bit more why I've done it like that. But this would have been late, early March 2011. And we saw this. We saw effectively 2 reactors go off the scale just because of that. And here really I'm asking, this could just be an insurance job? Japan, that whole thing could have been an insurance job if that hadn't happened. So this is where I'm assuming it happened. This is why we stopped this around about here. And then we come up to this sighting over here, which I didn't get till very recently.
But before we continue, though, a lot of my viewers don't know what the history of this viewing. What are we looking at here? What do you theorize that this is?
Okay, so the reason I stopped this is that was the first sighting, and we're just going to pause it there. So we've had, I didn't know, but I only found that sighting I've just shown you very recently. So this is Earth here. Obviously, we haven't got the moon. It's a very simple animation. I did it myself. I've never built an animation before, but it was just so on Flash you can lay things out, almost like in units, so to speak, and you can break them down, and so you can work out ratios and cycles.
Right. So this red ball that you show here with the little dancing comet thing around it, that is what you're saying is Nemesis.
That is Nemesis. That is our second sun, whatever you want to call it. And this is the furthest orbiting planet that goes around Nemesis. In reality, as you've just seen in Jeff P's shot, there's a lot more going on there. But if we to break this down and just look at the fundamental players here, the main characters in the play here, we've got Nemesis, we've got the furthest orbiting planet going around Nemesis, which is Nibiru. We've got the sun in the middle. And we've got Earth rotating without the moon, obviously, and we're in 2011 at the moment. And if I just go forward a little bit, we come to the 5th of August 2011. That was the first sighting that I ever discovered, which is this sighting here. I'll give you all the links to all these videos, Steve, so anyone who wants to track them all back and
they'll all be below, everybody. So everybody viewing this, you can go check out Dave's videos later. And I really want you to go subscribe to Dave's channel too.
Check out how it tracks. From this day, 5th of August 2011, I started piecing together a 200-day correlation. I ran 200 days from that date, and I started exploring all of these dates here. To see if I could find the correlating flybys, because I'd already found quite a few of them, and so the next one was the 2nd of February 2012, which was this footage here. Again, someone thought it was Elenin. NASA has told us no end of flybys are going to happen, and it just so happens that all these different flybys all start looking like the same thing, all 200 days apart. Can you imagine my line of inquiry there? And so, what have I put there? With 200 days, we'd have expected the 21st, not the 2nd of February. We were 19 days out. So it's just saying that, it's just giving you a rough idea of how close we were to the 200-day cycle. 8th September, that's of all the cycles, we've got 2 missing flybys, and that's the first of them. And it will start making sense as we run, as we keep going. 14th of February 2013, I was looking, that's the date the actual flyby happened. There's 2 of them.
They look like they're moving now, but it's taken them so long to go that far. It should have been out of our frame of reference like minutes ago, like 20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago. See how long this is? This is characteristic of all the flybys. They all stay much longer. Some go sideways and backwards. It says 2 of them here. Very rarely we see another object orbiting Nemesis, but sometimes we do. Okay, so Wednesday, 27th of March, 2013. That's the date we would have been expecting. It came 14th of February, 2013. That's 42 days out. That's the biggest time out period, but still very close. In reality, the day before this, I think, or the day after of the real sighting, when it happened, we had this occur over Russia. Very famous shot. I mean, this stuff's got debris. This is what it's telling us. It's got big debris. When we see it, we know it's very close to us. It's got debris. So let's keep going around and come to the next sighting, which is on the 14th. Okay, this is the 14th of October. Let me just play it.
Night mode now.
14th of October.
It's moving very slowly towards the eastern sky with a mist around it the whole time.
A day out, remember?
In this circle.
Look at that now. You see the tail behind? Breathtaking. Like a moon. Right on schedule. 1 day out of my schedule. I mean, look at that. Is this all Photoshop where all these people just getting together and it all just fits so perfectly? Did everyone do this maths just before? I mean, it's, you know, is there any part of anyone out there that would be willing to risk seeing that many generators go off? Because our social status on Facebook is just too cool. No, it's a little fluttering that we're getting there as well. I'm sensing that could be the shield again.
So what do you think this, you obviously believe that there's a shield as we do, so what do you believe that this shield protects us from? Does it protect us from the whole effect of it?
Just with it the whole way.
Hold on, Steve. Let me just run that forward to the next fighting and I'll answer that question. Okay, so it happened on Sunday, 13th of October. What was it, 2013. What do I think that is? I think that's Nemesis right on schedule, the furthest orbiting planet. That's what it's going to look like when it comes in. We get a very clear idea of its movements. And I think we see flashes of the shield, which is where you asked me, what do I think of? It's divine intervention, you know. I'm of a mind that we are a very high vibrational world. You see, I'm of a mind that there's something that wants us to destroy ourselves. Because if we are bodiless, we're on a planet with no bodies. You know, we're not going to, our souls aren't, if you like, our souls aren't going to die. But what happens when you get stranded on a planet and you're bodiless? You know, why do we need to do this to the planet? We can see by this evidence that something is going on. We're seeing massive ideas from all the flybys that we've had so far. Don't you feel like we're being protected? Even that famous flyby, I haven't got it right now, but Steve, if you remember, in your next show, maybe you could just show it. It was that asteroid. I've got it in one of my videos, but that what looks like an asteroid flying in. I've got it in one of my videos. It looks like an asteroid flying in, like the one we started the show on Blake's third phase of the moon. And we see it flying in, we see it cutting through, and then it drops into a cloud, and it just sits in it dropping out of a cloud, drip by drip by drip. It's on one of my videos. You're welcome to sort of drop that clip if you can find it in one of my recent.
Okay, so you believe that we're actually experiencing divine intervention. I track with you.
Absolutely. If we don't get pulled, they're going to try and put us into war. That's why this whole story is on us at the moment. They want to pull us into war. They want to focus us on war, and also they want to make anyone who looks at this as if you're attacking climate change. And so it's very difficult to look at this thing because we're up against. Well, there's so much social conditioning. There's so many social standards being held by just Facebook that we're scared to talk about our truth sometimes, because someone might say that, oh, he's a conspiracy theorist, and you might get struck off some record or something. You know what I mean? I'm just like, guys, you know. Anyway, should I just keep you going to the end of this timeline so we can just get everyone...
I won't interrupt you again. Please continue.
So we're coming now to, let's keep going from, where did we say, October... I don't know why I've paused it there. Oh, the reason I've paused it there was well, actually, I'll just come on and I'll explain later. But 1st of May, there was no, that was the second missing flyby out of the whole sequence. Now, that's quite an amazing thing. That's like about 9 or 10 sequences, 200 days apart. 23rd November, like on the 29th of June, 2011. Sorry, I've got the cursor over there. Come on, get out of the way before. There she goes. Look at that. Same thing. See the 4 tails there? And remember the 4 tails, because I'm going to show you the picture you put up the other day, Steve, where I also identified 4 tails in that. We'll come back to that at the end of this, at the right sequence, okay? We're going to bring that in. That was 6 days out of that shot. 6 days out of the 200-day sequence. 8th of June. a very brief shot. It was Becky and she caught it she got a single shot of it, just chasing the sun down on the 8th of June. We were being inspected on the 200-day, 5th of June, 3 days out. I mean, can you imagine when I was discovering this? I was like, no! And they were, NASA, another flyby, Elenin, Comet, Olson, super close flyby. And you start putting them all together and they all start looking at the same thing. 21st of December, this is when I made the crazy prediction. I put a date on Doom. This came in on the 20th. This is when I said it would fly by. I mean, what do you need? It flooded in England, severity. Sinkholes opened up on the M42 in England. Cars got washed out to sea in France. We had the worst storms we've ever seen in human history. I mean, we've never seen a bigger storm over the Pacific. Clockwise rotating tsunamis. Clockwise rotating tornadoes.
That's no freaking airplane.
Christmas Eve, December 24th, the famous Becky Lewis.
24th, 2015. Central Indiana, this is Becky Lewis.
I watched this on Christmas Eve after she sent it out.
Are you kidding me?
It's just, she's a scientist. She's out there all the time with her camera. She's observing. She's getting results. She's not going to her head and opinion. She's getting out there, finding results all the time. And that's,
and I won't be able to
it's
see
effort.
it.
It's like Jeff Pierce, it's like yourself, Steve. You get some amazing stuff coming in. Okay, then we come on to the 28th of March 2016, and Becky Lewis got lucky again. She's out there, like I said, after she got that shot, and she caught this shot. And I want to take you through why this shot gave me so much information. It was so vital. It was exactly 100 days after her previous footage. And I said it was a 200-day cycle, and I was expecting at some point for it to come into its 200-day cycle point, or to its other side of its cycle, so to speak. I've turned it upside down there because she took it. The second footage was in the evening. The first footage was in the morning. So I've had to turn it over so you can kind of see where from the same level, from the same way up, so to speak. And you can see that they're traveling opposite directions when I do that, which says it was traveling the other way. But notice where that ring was. That means that it's kind of moved away from the bottom section that was closer to the sun at the point when it was going over the top of the sun. Down there was further away. It was too close to the sun before. So the fact that we could see it there, it meant it was moving out and away from the sun. So I'd said the 9th of July was the next predicted path, flyby. I had this sent to me on the 23rd. Suhage also took this picture, a subscriber. And you can imagine, people think I was absolutely mad chartering this thing. It's 23rd day of Brexit, the day it flooded in England. You know what I mean? It's one of the most disastrous days. And of course, I'm just going to stop there because that was my venue at Glastonbury, and I was shouting out about this. And of course, I'd just been given amazing space at Glastonbury, and then I'm shouting this thing out, and it's just like, Dave, just in your hour of honour, you get given this great venue, and then you go and shout out in the Nibiru. But I had to, this was the 2016, the big flyby. And of course, this thing is moving like clockwork. It's like the moon. It's not insane. You don't need too much science to predict the next full moon. If you know the time of the previous one, you could just count the days. And so it was, by this stage in this whole process, I was just like, no, this cannot be happening. So, and I was going, I was doing my 40 days and 40 nights walking through the desert on this, and then, of course, people started to sort of see more. And then, of course, we're expecting, if it's coming out, we're expecting it's coming to a night sky.
That is absolutely fantastic going down.
Matt Rogers, take the floor. Let me just move that out of the way.
Thank you for viewing, guys.
This was on the 15th of August. This is...
Fantastic.
I mean...
Fantastic. It's time to believe now, guys.
So what's all that stuff? Follow
time
it down.
To believe.
Late at night, it came into our night skies. It pops up and it pops back down like Venus.
Was that debris that we saw in Matthew's?
Absolutely. Do you want to see that again? Should I just come back to that?
The debris field, right?
Because it would be good to just come back to that, because before I just before I play that on, all these little dots, you can watch them as this goes down, and you'll watch them, and you'll follow them down. Can I just say, whilst I'm here on this shot, because Matt Rogers' channel went down, I don't know what happened there, but we lost him for a while, and he's just come back up. Matt gets out there. He's out there all the time. He's like, he is a scientist. You know, he's an astronomer, but he's looking into the daylight. You know, this is where it's mostly happening. Admittedly, he's catching these nighttime shots. He knows specifically when they're going to come up. But he's just got his channel back up again, and he's starting over. He's starting fresh. This is a guru of Nibiru. And he's Nibiru Hunter, I think he goes by as well. Please,
you know what, Dave? That makes me think that we should interview him next week just to make sure he gets enough exposure.
And he's got lots of stuff going on, man. I mean, he caught this shot. Honestly, this is when Jeff P caught, you know, the shot he caught. But you know, his classic shot on the 20th of December, where he's just marveling at that second sun, and it's just the most breathtaking shot. You know, it's just unbelievable. This was like Jeff P's moment of wonder. This was Matthew Rogers. This was an amazing picture. This was an amazing shot. I had to work for this. Going up there all the time in the cold, hanging out there, just thinking, well, maybe it's August or something, but I don't know. It was up there. He was doing it, you know, just knowing he was going to be there, waiting for all those chemtrails to clear for that moment that he got that shot. That's you know, Nibiru Hunter he goes by the name of. Well done,
yeah,
amazing.
It's a brilliant piece of work.
So watch these dots.
Now, guys.
Watch the dots.
Time to leave.
Yeah, what are they?
I'll just run that one more time because my little thing was there.
Thank you for viewing, guys. Fantastic. Fantastic. It's time to believe now, guys. Time to believe.
That is exactly when they took down his channel.
Yeah, it was, and then this is another subscriber who got this shot, and Blue Star 712. He just played with this image. He marveled at it. It was very odd. He was expecting. He'd been watching my channel. Got very excited when he's seen it. He's been really tracking it. He's developed his own YouTube channel. And of course, this thing's come away from the sun now. So you're going to get a lot more regular shots. The 200-day cycle, that's finished now. This thing is going to be cropping up all over the place. And I think we've had the big flyby this time, but it gives us a very real time when the next flyby is due. We've got to understand that. I know a lot of people are thinking that this thing is beyond Earth. It's somewhere further away, out around Jupiter or something like that. But this thing has, for all the evidence I've got and the correlations of the flybys, I can't find any other way of tracking this other than to say it's all occurring like Venus inside.
If I might interrupt you for just a second. We also, I mean, Wayne, I won't unless I have your permission. Can I tell you what you tell everybody what you texted me this morning?
Go ahead.
Thank you for permission. The first text I got from Wayne today was, Steve, we saw the signs all wrong. It's here. It's already here.
I've known that for a long time.
That was the first email that I got from my brother Wayne. And then a few minutes ago, we just received a complete white paper based on the magnetopause reversal that, I'm sorry to tell everybody, validates what you're saying.
It's here, and actually I think that the physicists, I just posted my channel a 25-minute video, Steve, on that. It's here. I think that our physicist is right. I think that she has pointed it out as the, it's in between, it's near Jupiter.
It's near Jupiter. Oh,
yes.
You think it's further out?
So, by tracking what we're seeing on the Y, is this the Y cut or the Z cut, Steve?
That is your Z cut.
I think it's the Z cut. So she was taking two observations.
Dave.
Where'd Dave go?
I'm still here. I'm not gone. I'm not gone. I'll stay there.
So There you go. I mean, I think this was a sobering paper. It really is. And of course,
Wayne, is this where you think it is? Can I just establish, because just so I'm crystal clear, do you think Nemesis, just so I'm clear of what I'm looking at there, is Nemesis further away from the sun than Earth, or closer in your opinion?
I think the brown dwarf, and if that's Nemesis, all I know is we're going on day 4 now, the magnetopause, it's still not connecting. So I think, Dave, just my observation, I think we suddenly have got a very dense mass of a star, dead star, brown star, whatever. But I have said for the longest time, I thought that we would see this by also the magnetic signature. And I think that's what we're seeing. And I think we have seen it before, but we have been trained to believe that when there's a CME, a coronal hole, it's going to come in, and if it's of a certain density or a certain particle string, then this is going to have reverberations to our magnetopause. Problem with that is that I've gone back, and as I was taught as a scientist, that if you're conducting an experiment, in order to validate that experiment, you have to be able to have variables that will validate the same result. So if we have CMEs that come off the sun, wouldn't we see a constant disruption to the magnetopause, particularly when we see particle flux moving in the opposite direction of the solar particle flux?
Yeah. Wayne, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you here. When I hear you talk, when I've heard you take me through some of this stuff, you go into this language that you know, you go into this language. I must admit, that side of it, I struggle to understand. But you see, when I first started looking at the stereosecchi A, you know, it was as much as me. It was as much as I could do to try and find it on sort of like on NASA's site and try. I was working out how it was launched. I was trying to like see how you were throwing us through these figures, but nonetheless, I was correlating it with evidence. You know, when I knew these flybys were occurring, I was seeing this thing light up like a Christmas tree, you know, and then we saw like Jeff P shot. Honestly, that side of it, I'm watching your shows, I'm watching Steve's shows, you know, this is what you're talking about here is you're entering somewhere that is, you know, I'm going to have to try and keep up with you here.
Well,